So Reform just took Labour's lunch, and it was delicious in a twist that most of the country saw coming, apart from Starmer, of course. Reform has jumped past Labour in a Westminster voting poll, leaving Keir Starmer's party in third place. The Conservatives cling to a slim lead at 26%, Reform is at 24%, and Labour limps behind with 23%. So someone better fetch the smelling salts for Starmer. From first place to third place in a matter of 5 months is quite an achievement. But Labour's descent into polling purgatory is hardly a shock, with Starmer's leadership, not to mention his recent reset speech resembling an extended PowerPoint presentation. I'm not going to play it now because you will definitely switch off or fall asleep. Instead, you can have a listen to what Farage said about it.
So I sat and watched and listened to Keir Starmer's speech, and I was very pleased with myself. I managed to stay awake right until the very end, which, given how bland the delivery was, how scripted the whole thing was, how lacking in any sense of emotion or message delivery, was remarkable. The 6 milestones doesn't even mention immigration, the boats, or anything. And I actually genuinely think that the milestones will become millstones as they fail on every single one of them.
It was long, dull and full of meaningless buzzwords. The party's failed to capitalise on its so-called landslide election win. The man can't even turn on Christmas tree lights without boring everyone to tears.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! It worked!
Labour just seems to be stuck in a game of buzzword bingo. Milestones, foundations, pillars. What's next? Starmer's going to be unveiling visionary pebbles for his next 5-year plan. Starmer talked about his 6-point plan to save the nation, secure borders, economic stability, blah, blah, blah. It was supposed to inspire, instead it just prompted yawns across the electorate. While Labour was busy tying itself in bureaucratic knots, trying to reset itself, Reform was out there speaking to the voters, unafraid to tackle issues the traditional parties sideline, like immigration, woke culture, national identity. It's not rocket science, but it works. These are the issues that people want to talk about. This is in stark contrast to Starmer, who seems to hate his country. He's in a rush to give away the Chagos Islands, and also possibly now he's in talks to give away the Elgin Marbles. We're even hearing news that he wants to knighthood Sadiq Khan. It's like he's really trying his best to annoy and alienate everyone in the UK. Sadiq Khan is probably the second most hated politician in the country behind Starmer. Khan has overseen the decline of London. So why? What exactly is he receiving a knighthood for? Crippling taxes on the motorist? Out of control crime, especially knife crime under his watch, and allowing London to be shut down for plasticine protests nearly every weekend now, it seems, with no regard to how it affects businesses. People are scared to even travel around London. Even tourists are now increasingly asking, is it safe to visit London? All this, and Khan receives a knighthood. Farage called the recent poll a sign of real momentum. Reform UK isn't just an anti-establishment party, it's a political prize fighter now. And Labour and the Tories are wobbling in the ring, bloodied and dazed. Reform has all the momentum. Labour's problem's simple. They've forgotten who they're fighting for. Instead of representing the working class, who apparently they're supposed to be representing, they're tangled in ideological gymnastics and chasing applause from things like X's left-wing echo chamber. And meanwhile, Reform is serving straight shots of common sense to voters who are feeling abandoned by the Westminster elite. Just have a listen to this woman on BBC's Question Time.
It's the amount that are coming over on these boats. They're young men. They're not working. Let's go forward 5, 10 years. Where will they be then? Still in this country, not working? And I'm a pensioner, we are paying for these people day in and day out for their accommodation. Where are they going in 5, 10, 20 years' time?
So can I ask you, do you think there are any grounds on which people should be able to come here and claim asylum?
The only grounds that I think that people should be allowed to come into the country is if they have the sufficient qualifications to do the jobs that we probably need.
And as far as asylum goes?
I don't believe in any asylum. I really don't. I think we have taken more than our fair share in this country. I feel very sorry for the little towns, little villages that these people have been put, where people have lived all their lives and they're frightened. They're absolutely frightened.
Do you feel sorry for the people who are fleeing war? Do you feel sorry for people fleeing persecution?
I think there's far too much made of this, that they're fleeing wars.
Okay.
Right. All right. Jackie, you want... Thank you. Thank you.
Is there a war in Algeria? Is there a war in Morocco? Is there a war... Where are they coming from? Well, Syria?
Lots from Syria.
I mean, just listen to the gasps and laughter in the audience when she doesn't agree with the narrative that asylum seekers are fleeing war. She's been reposted and branded a racist across X, but why? I mean, what part of what she said is racist? She's happy to accept other people from different races, her only qualifier being that they contribute to the country with skills that we actually need. I mean, why is that so controversial to say these days? Labour's only big innovation was to promise that they're not the Tories. I mean, that's all very well not being the Tories, but you can't be worse than them. Reform's outdone them by being none of the above. They've stolen Labour's ever-increasing disillusioned base, and they've pinched Tory voters that are sick of incompetence and looking for an alternative. Starmer's 6 pillars nonsense has no chance of working. There was no substance, no goals or targets there. He just hopes you forget all about it come election time. And that probably won't be hard. I think most people have forgotten about his speech already. It was that forgettable. So Reform are doing well, and not because they're perfect. They're certainly not perfect. But because Labour and the Conservatives are so spectacularly inept. Labour has managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory using taxes as some form of punishment to the UK. Higher taxes and removing the winter fuel allowance have hardly brought in any measurable funds for the government when you compare it to how much money they've wasted on insane projects like net zero and funding that they've sent abroad. The question seems no longer will Labour recover, but how much more humiliation can they take before they dump Starmer and go for the big reset? I really can't see him lasting past the summer at this rate. Personally, I'm not 100% convinced with Reform just yet, but I will still be voting for them as I don't see any other viable alternative at this point. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have Reform convinced you enough to get your vote? Thank you for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.